So let's start putting the fires out. So how did I help? Number one, remember unclear communication, time to get clear. Time for the information that was coming from Dave to his team member to make sense. So one of the first things I did, this was obviously after understanding Dave as I do and understanding the business, the number one thing I thought we need to do is we need to define some roles in here. And you can take notes throughout. This would be pretty helpful information. And you might go, defining roles. Yeah, I've got a sales and marketing manager. I've got a assistant. I don't mean that. I mean define roles as in what are your team members that you have now, whether they're here or overseas, what are their core skill sets? What is that in? And ask them, because they actually might have skills you didn't know anything about when they applied for the job, right? They might have applied for the job as a graphic designer or a coder or retail assistant, but they might actually have skills that are beyond that you can use. So defining the role is really important. And the reason why is because it no longer became a matter of who was the delegator and who was the doer. Dave was sort of rapid firing instructions to people, just hoping that it would get to where it needed to go. But if you have a clear idea of who the delegators are, and I believe you had been previously explained about how you've got your sort of top tier staff, and then you've got your sort of other chess pieces that are the general underneath. Didn't quite explain that as well as Troy did. Sorry about that. But if you actually know who your doers are and your delegators are, then what ends up happening is Dave can easily go, I need to get this done, I need to get it done now, to the delegator. The delegator knows all of the roles. They know who does what. They know what their specialties are, so then they can quick fire that off to the right person. So it's like creating a filter between the ideas person and the team. And if necessary, getting someone like myself in to become that filter has to happen to kind of calm the waters.
I just wanted to add something with that one. I might add my little 2 cents on each one. With this one in particular, another thing that you did was we actually put a system together for delegating work. So inside our project management tool, Asana, we have a process listed out on how work needs to be assigned. So once I'd pass it to Melissa or whoever was actually going to feed it through to the team, assign it to the right person, and then the process for how that needs to be delegated out to make sure that the assistant who reads it isn't getting a half-baked task on how it's actually done. So that was another really good one you put in place.
Thank you. Number 2 is defining the deliverables. So no more can do everything. And it's not just about going can do everything, because maybe down the track you want to do everything. But when I say define deliverables, I don't mean just create a list of things that you do. When you write down everything that your business offers or the products that you sell, you should think about everything you don't do. What are the exclusions from your product and service list? Does that make sense to everybody? Where's the opportunity in knowing what you don't do? Upsells, right? Tack on stuff at the end. Or maybe during the process you go, this service includes this, but it doesn't include this. If you want that done, tick that box, right? So it's important to know what your services don't include for the price. In order for you to grow, you need to know, you hanging. In order for you to grow, you need to know what you do right now, what that includes, and what you don't include. And when you list out what you don't include, maybe that's something you can do down the track, or maybe it's something you can do right now and you just never thought about it. Then you go, well, how am I going to do that? Well, you just go off and you find someone that can do that service, and bam, you've got another thing that you can upsell to someone. Come on, Dave.
The other thing that we started to do, or you got me to do, is starting to say no to a lot of clients.
Yes.
We'd have clients that would reach out and say, can you do this? And if it didn't fall exactly into one of the packages, I'd say, you're going to have to chat with Melissa first. They'd have a phone call with Melissa, and then Melissa would say, no, sorry, that doesn't fit into a package. It's something that we can't help with, or you can hire us by the hour, or you can go talk to this person over here. And we started saying no to quite a lot of
what's
work.
the benefit of saying no to that? You free up more time, don't you? You're not spending time trying to reinvent the wheel that someone else is an expert at. Let them do it. Do what your core skill set's about. Do what your business was built to do. So yeah.
And certain clients we were finding were sucking out all of my team's time. So some squeaky wheels were taking so much of the team's time, and other clients were just really easy to work with because we had very clear deliverables on what we were giving them. So it was a better experience for them, and it was a better experience for us.
Thank you. So fix number 4, you remember the pile of books? We started to stack them up and organize them. So it's time to go through, Dave, all the systems you have, let's bring them all to the table, let's have a look and see. Not only that, it wasn't about just getting them all organized, it was filling them out. Are they up to date? And how do they connect with one another, right? It's one thing, like I said before, to have all these great systems, but perhaps you have systems that are within systems that are within systems. That sounds kind of complicated, but it really isn't when you have an organized place to put them. It's very easy to go from system number 1 to system number 2 to system number 3 when you have the organization around it. So from there, like I said before, we had started off with role training. Everyone had their roles defined. They knew what they needed to do, right? Dave knew the core skill set of his team members, each and individual one of them, and he had some beginnings of systems. So either it's, say for example, we had someone that was keyword research. That's their core skill set. We said, you, keyword research team member, you are now attached to the keyword research system. Look through it. Make sure it works right. You're in charge of that now. And then any systems or any services that we didn't have systems for, we assigned it to the appropriate team member that had the skill set. We said, make the system for it. The next time you do that, document it. Do screenshots. Screen capture your computer. Make little notes as you go. So what ended up happening is that the systems just sort of naturally started filling themselves out. And all of through that, they got unified in a single spot that we call System Hub. And so the team can continuously go back to it, tweak it, operate from it. So each team member has systems that they do, so they're in charge of making them, not you. Fix number 4 was the staff onboarding, training. As you all know, Dave's a nice guy, right? As I said before, we had staff coming on and they weren't always sure where they fit. They didn't really know how things were meant to go. So we had to make systems the same for every single staff member. Now granted, each staff member would have a different role, specialty that they would do, right? So you have someone that's very different if you've got someone who works in the office with you is going to be very different if you have someone outsourced in the Philippines. But there's some still similar culture from your business that has to be trained to them from the get-go. You know, things like, your staff handbook. What are your policies and procedures? What are your vision? How do you apply for leave? All that sort of stuff needed to get documented and put into place. And it was really amazing how when you put staff onboarding into place, watching how people go through that staff onboarding, put your old team members through it too, which is what we did. Oh, you can't have to do training. I've been here for 4 years. Yes, training again. Once it all got done, training again. And it was really amazing was how quickly all the winners floated right to the top and the stragglers, that dead weight, became very obvious. Because all of a sudden you realized who was really following the systems and who wasn't.
With that one as well, we did go through the process, and you need to do it for the good of the business to fire staff when they're not right, they're not the right cultural fit, they're not following the systems, and it's hard, but you have to think in terms of the larger organisation.
No more Mr. Nice Guy.
And yeah, and the stronger that Melbourne SEO and video is, the more people that we can help support. So if we're having to carry people, that's actually doing a disservice to the amount of impact that we can have. So when we recognised some people weren't quite fitting into the culture and the way that we were heading as we moved into this new category, we needed to let them go and let them go and find something that was more suitable for them.
That's right.
So that was,
and this was a hard process for Dave because he is a super nice guy, so letting go of staff is not one of his strong points. So next fix was, so we've extinguished all these fires, we're doing really good, and then I would find that all of a sudden it'd be like, Dave, what are you doing there? What are you doing? And he's micromanaging still. Old habits die really hard, don't they? When you're so used to running everything, how hard is it going to be to let go and let someone else do it? And they don't do it like you do it, right? Well, that's where systems come into place, because systems, you write down what you want them to do and they need to follow that system. So there is going to be some teething, of course, because no one's ever going to do it as good as you think. But I said to Dave, it's time. There's a track now. There's systems in place. Let your team roll with it. Empower them again. The whole reason you started the business to begin with was to have more freedom, and micromanagement is the complete opposite of that. So we had to squash that, and Dave was really good. Dave was very accommodating. I would say, Dave, you go, I know I'm doing it again. And he would stop and he would pull back and we would have to just work through it. But there's a little teething process in it, but it was really effective. Okay, Dave. This is my co-presentation with David Jennings.
Right. Well, this is like a therapy session. The other thing was I would send communication through email. And, you know, oh, can you do this or can you do that? And I still do it, I know. I'm sorry, Mum. And Melissa, if she would CC in, she would say, Dave, you know you need to be delivering all of this communication in Asana. Because we need to have a central place where all communication is documented. So that way team members, if they come and go from a particular project, there's a central thread where we could follow what was actually being happened. There's nothing worse than someone saying something on Skype and then saying, oh, but I chatted with Dave and he said this, and then that's because I was Mr. Nice Guy, and then I'd find the exception, where now I need to be much more rigid and say, no, all communication needs to go through Asana.
You all heard it.
Yeah, there you go.
You all heard it.
It's recorded. There we go.
It's on film. Documented. Love it. That's what it was all about today, people. No, just kidding. Oh, yeah, I know. There's the loophole. All right, so fix number 6 is, of course, following the rules. So I know, Dave, you remember these conversations that we've had, and we've had these back when we had Planet 13. It's bigger than you. Your business is bigger than you. And unless you like staying in the box that you're in, where you are right now, you need to think of your business as bigger than you. And if you're going to pop in from time to time, like Troy does in his business, right, and isn't sure where things are, if you are going to pop in from time to time, you need to follow the rules, because you are at the helm, remember? You're the person at the front. And yeah, just because you're the business owner doesn't mean that you can just break the rules because you can. If you're going to set that example and let your staff automate, run your business, give you the freedom that you wanted from the beginning, then you should follow the rules too. You should be a great example. So, you're not going to say you tempted?
Okay. Yeah, that one was really easy for me because one of my core philosophies is you need to be the best example of what you teach. And that's something that I think everybody should take on board, and you need to lead by example for your team. There's no way that you can tell someone to do something in your team if you're not prepared to do it yourself.
Agreed.
And you find exceptions and breaking the rules. So even running this event is fantastic because it's driving us again to relook at the way that we're doing systems and get better and better and better. There's nothing like teaching it. Now we need to level up the way that we do systems, because now I'm out there kind of, you know, saying this is what we're doing, here's how we're doing it.
Yeah. So now that we've got all these fixes, so we've implemented all of these, and there's only 6, right? You guys probably have a lot longer list than that, but this is only 6. I can honestly say, I know from conversations with Dave, that just putting these things into place let him experience the kind of freedom his business never allowed him before. Little Nate came along, he got married. You know, wouldn't you like to be able to spend that time with your family and your friends, or just run off in the middle of nowhere one day and just go off the grid? Or whatever.
I ran a little experiment. I'm going to jump. I ran a little experiment.
Just quickly, my session's running over.
Okay. Last story. The experiment was I booked myself in for an 11-day meditation retreat in New Zealand where you don't talk, you don't use any internet, there's no touch sort of with the outside world, you completely go inside. And that, if you do something like that as a business owner, it's called Vipassana, that's what the course is called, but it's a way to force yourself to completely separate, and then the business has to survive without you. And that was a really good step for me as a business owner.
There's a couple of grey hairs on you from that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So right now, again, in your workbooks, there's a section where I'd like you to maybe have a think about were any of the fixes that I helped Dave with, would they be able to help you in your business now? Are there any spots that you think that you can actually look at and go, you know what, that makes sense. I should probably put that into place. Do you have clear deliverables? Do you have staff onboarding? And that's just not like, hello, welcome to the team. Actual step-by-step training. Have a think about some of those fixes. How would that change your life if you put them into place? Just one. It's an idea.